Hi, my name is Erwin Uit De Bos. I'm a solution architect at Digital Realty. Today I'm going to talk to you about multi-site, multi-cloud IT platforms. It is critical for your IT business strategy that when you deploy your systems around the globe, you have to take into account things like data sovereignty, data compliance, and risk management. So let me lead you through what happens and what's going on with these deployments. So there's organizations, they have users sitting in their office buildings. These users need to access applications that sit in data centers. So we have these users in office buildings who need to access data in data centers and applications in those data centers. But in a real global environment, what happens is that it's not just applications and data sitting in a data center, it also involves clouds where these applications and data sits. And it's not just in one location where these clouds and data centers are, it is also in other data centers all over the globe and other clouds in all those locations as well. These data centers and these clouds all need to be interconnected in order for the users all over the globe to keep them happy and productive wherever they are, whenever they are working. If you're in charge of your IT department and you need to make this scenario happen, there are several things that we can do to make your life easier. One of the things that customers always need is privacy. It needs to be a deployment specifically dedicated to them. It needs to be flexible. It needs to be highly secure. It needs to be cost effective. It needs to be with proper performance. And finally, it needs to be standard. Now we have a list of requirements that organizations can use to create their IT platforms all over the globe in a multi-site, multi-cloud environment. So now we have this list of requirements. Your worldwide IT platforms need to be private so you can keep control over everything that's going on in a data center. It needs to be flexible because at some point you're going to shrink or grow the deployments around the globe, or you're going to change locations within the globe. So you need to have flexibility in moving around. Of course, it needs to be secure. You don't want to be hacked. You don't want to be compromised. It needs to be cost effective. Everything needs to be cost effective always. It needs to have proper performance so that your users all over the globe will be happy. And it needs to be standardized. And this particular thing is what is going to make all the other things happen as well. It all starts with the users. The users need to access their applications that sit in a data center. In this data center, we have many applications running. And these applications are running on hardware that sits in racks with blinking lights that you know from the movies, where data is stored and where connectivity to the outside world is managed through something we call ServiceFabric. Users in the offices access the data and applications in the data center through ServiceFabric, and this is secured using firewalls to make sure that we're completely secure. Now, this is not just happening in one data center. This is happening in data centers all over the globe. And it's not just happening in data centers all over the globe. It's also happening in several clouds. And the good thing about doing this in data centers is that clouds are usually very close to the data centers. Actually, to get access to public clouds, you have to go through co-location data centers with connectivity into these clouds. And it's not just connectivity going into the clouds, it's also connectivity going to the other data centers all over the globe. And because you're going to do this in many clouds and in many data centers all over the globe, you need to comply with all these requirements. Digital Realty has created blueprints for how to do this. This blueprint specifies how the equipment needs to be put into the racks, how the data needs to be put into the racks, how the applications run on these systems, how we connect all of this together through ServiceFabric across the globe to the end users in the offices all over the world in a very standardized way. And doing this in a standardized way makes it easy and cost effective. It allows you to shrink and grow your deployments across the globe, and it allows you to be flexible because you can take this blueprint anywhere into any of the Digital Realty data centers and immediately deploy exactly the same configuration in that new data center. The fact that these data centers are very close to the clouds also makes it easy to get better performance. By creating a standard blueprint for deploying your applications and your data all over the globe, we have made it easy for you to comply with all these things that were necessary to satisfy your users in offices all over the world and have them working safely and securely at the right performance anytime, anywhere. Putting your applications and your data in co-location data centers like this doesn't only allow you to fulfill all these requirements, it also allows you to get some other side benefits like better physical security and much better energy efficiency and sustainability. Thank you for joining me in this explanation of our blueprints for multi-cloud, multi-site IT deployments.